Hi, second grade. Today we're going to draw the picture where the King of Ireland's son comes and sees the Swallow people after having captured the Sword of Light. And we know that what happens next is not good. But here he is with the slight red steed, the Swallow people around the fire, and a crabapple tree. If you remember from the scene with the Swallow people, they were roasting things over the fire. They were roasting eels and crab apples, and they were very small, but rather mischievous. So I'm going to start my drawing, first of all, by doing a border around my page in blue. So go ahead and open your main lesson books and we'll start doing our border. Okay, kiddo, so I have my blue border. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting down the ground with my brown block crayon. I'm going to make my ground about one full Papa Bear height. Okay, kiddos, now that I have the ground down, I'm going to start drawing the slight red steed. And I'm going to take my dark red and I'm going to measure about one Papa Bear up from where my ground is. And that's where I'm going to start my horse's body. So I'll do one Papa Bear rectangle across. And then to make its neck, I'll go on Mama Bear and I'll start drawing a skinny rectangle going up. Finally, using Baby Bear, I'll make a triangle, a small triangle, going out from the neck. And this will make my head. To shape the legs, I will use the Baby Bear side and make a long oval for the top part of the leg, and then a shorter oval, a smaller oval for the bottom. And I'll repeat that on the back, just making long oval shapes for the legs. And then I'll give my horse a front leg, a second front leg, and then a second back leg. I will round out its body. And kind of go over some of these edges to give it a more definite shape. Then I'll put my block crayon down and pick up my red stick crayon and I'll make its ears. I'll make its mane. And I'll make its long tail. And towards the bottom of the legs, I'll darken where the hooves would be. I'll take my black stick crayon and draw a circle for the eye and then 2 nostrils. And I will take my brown stick crayon and start drawing the bridle going across its face. And the reins are actually coming down. You'll find out why. And then I'm going to draw the shape of the saddle on the horse. I'll take my brown block crayon to fill this in and to really find the shape that the saddle would have had on the horse. All right, there's our horse. So now that I've drawn my horse, or the slight red steed, I'm going to start drawing the King of Ireland's son. And I'll start his head right around where the horse's nose is. Around that height. So I'll start with my golden yellow block crayon and I'll start forming his head. Now that I've formed his head, I'll start making his chest and torso. So I'll take the shirt color that he's wearing, green, and I'll use my green block crayon to make a line underneath his head, and this shows where his lower body is starting. I make little tiny circles where his shoulders should be. And then I use my block crayon to fill in where his torso would be. So now that I have his torso, I'll take my brown block crayon and start making his hips and the area where his legs would come out. So I'll start drawing his legs and his feet are facing forward. And he doesn't have any arms. So let's take our green block crayon, using the baby bear side. I'm going to start drawing his arm, and he has one arm coming down towards the slight red steed, and he has another arm coming down by his side. So then I'll take my golden yellow, draw in his hands, and you can see that in one hand he is holding onto the reins of the slight red steed, but in the other hand he is going to be carrying the Sword of Light. So I'll use my lemon yellow stick crayon, and then I'll add the handle onto the Sword of Light. And that is what he is carrying in his hand. Now he does have hair, so let's give him some hair. And I imagine that he has a hat. And so I'm going to take my red block crayon and I'm just going to give him a little hat he could wear. Maybe this is his adventurer's hat. Let's see. I realized his head wasn't quite connected to his neck. There we go. Now right over here, next to him, we have some of the swallow people. So to make the swallow people, we're going to start right about where his hand is. And we'll start making a head. And then we'll take our brown block crayons and start making their small bodies. They have a chest and torso, feet, and arms. They have hands. And we're not sure what color hair they had. I'll give this one some black hair, and I'll do another one with brown hair, and who knows. Okay, kiddos, now that I've added in my swallow people, we have a couple more details I want to add in. We're going to draw a fire pit where the swallow people had a fire going. So I'm going to take my brown block crayon and just make a bunch of rings around with it. And this kind of makes our fire pit. And coming out of our fire pit, well, first of all, let's put some logs in. But then coming out, we'll have orange, some orange flames. And then some red flames and some yellow flames. And then there's one more detail I want to add in. And that is that the swallow people they ate, it was in the book, it described them as eating eels and crab apples. So I wanted to draw a crab apple tree in this picture. So I'll start using my brown block crayon and draw a straight line going up, and then I'll make the branches using the sides of my block crayon, using the mama bear and the baby bear side. And because this tree is all in bloom, we're going to see lots of leaves on it. So once we have some of our branches, we'll go back over the tree with our green, and this will add all of the leaves that we would expect to see in a crabapple tree in the spring that was in bloom. Now, as we know, crab apples only fall in the fall. But since it's almost summer, let's just put some crab apples in the tree. And I'll bet that the swallow people are eating some of the crab apples that they have gathered. So here we go. And then let's put a bunch of crab apples on the ground. All right, now a couple more details we can add. We can add some plants. We can add lots of plants. And the most important thing is when we're all done, that we fill in the rest of the sky. And so we'll take our blue block crayon and we'll go around and we'll just fill in the sky. And we'll just carefully go around the slight red steed, our tree, and the King of Ireland's son. All right, I can't wait to see what details you guys decide to put in. I know you have good ideas for what should go in this picture as well. That's it.